This class will look at the contribution of Max Weber to our understanding of bureaucratic organizations. Now, from the outset, it must be remembered that bureaucracies to us today are seen as slow, unnecessarily complex, inefficient, and very legalistic almost organizations, ones which have many layers of paperwork, or nowadays computer files, and many people involved in checking and processing information, so that the overall output is very slow. The organization is very slow because it is bureaucratic. So we see the word bureaucracy as almost a term of abuse, an insult almost. Whereas Weber saw bureaucracies as a necessity. This is how business is organized. Businesses must have a paper chain. Businesses must have procedures which are followed and signed off and agreed, and the whole process must start somewhere within the business and flow through the business until the final product is produced and the customer's needs have been met. So we have a difference of opinion here. Nowadays we see organizations, or we seem to understand organizations as inefficient, large, impersonal, organizations which are difficult to deal with. Whereas to Weber, these were efficient. Organizations have to be efficient and have an efficient bureaucracy to see the efficiency permeate the whole organization. It controls the organization. So a difference of opinion between the two sets of ideas. So let's start by looking at what Weber's theory concentrated on. And what he actually concentrated on was the fact that positions should be structured where there must be a clear line of authority, a hierarchy. So within organizations there is a hierarchy, and the hierarchy controls, at one level it controls the level beneath it. A hierarchy at one level is answerable to the layer above it. So it's almost like a pyramid, starting with the chief executive officer or the managing director, whoever, starting with the person at the top, coming down to various departments, and right down to where, if you like, the work happens with the workers, but by which time all the paperwork has been done, the system has gone through the motions of working out the procedures, they've all been signed off and agreed. So we have the idea of a hierarchy and bureaucracy going together. They are related. And all persons must be selected by competency for the job and promotion. Promotion, in other words, should be based on achievement and a highly specialized division of labor. So for Weber, successful bureaucracies are ones which promote the best, the most efficient producers, the most efficient workers. Not just anyone being promoted or almost randomly selected, and certainly not done on the basis of family connections perhaps, although it depends on the nature of the business and depends on the involvement of families, etc. But the idea was for Weber that bureaucracies, to be efficient, should promote the best workers. And finally, there should be a formal structure. It's not informal, it's not made up on the hoof, it's not devised day in, day out. This is a formal structure. It may be written down, there may be a formal organizational chart. So there is certainty about the nature of the structure of the business. Now Weber believed if these were in place, then bureaucracies were good for business. The bureaucracies were the way businesses operate. Now let's look at some of the misconceptions of bureaucratic organizations, or related to bureaucratic organizations. Good bureaucracy removes or reduces opportunities for corruption, favoritism, and arbitrary exercise of power. Instead of bribing a single individual, it's necessary to bribe perhaps several officials, and that minimizes the chances of it happening. It's difficult to, if you like, corrupt the bureaucracy. It may be easy to corrupt some people within it, perhaps one person within it, but it's difficult to deal with all of the people in the bureaucracy. And because of the nature of bureaucracies, they are all interrelated. They are all intertwined in the production process, in processing the requirements of production, whatever the production is, a service at the end or a physical tactile product. So it promotes good business. That's the idea. It reduces the possibility of corruption, favoritism, and arbitrary exercise of power. Sometimes it adds extra paperwork to the system. Sometimes some of the paperwork is unnecessary, and paper filling takes time, and it has to be filed and signed off and agreed, and if it doesn't do anything, if it doesn't lead anywhere, then that is wasteful. So within bureaucracies, there must be an eye kept on each task as to whether the task is essential or not. And we tend to identify bureaucracy with large organizations. Generally speaking, we tend to associate bureaucracies with large organizations. Small businesses tend not to be that bureaucratic. There are few layers within a small business. But also, because the business is small, it's easy for the person at the top of the business to see all the functioning of the business right through from top to bottom. But we tend to associate with large organizations. Sorry, I've skipped back. Sometimes bureaucracy would be mistaken for civil service, say governmental organizations, but actually is being used at various types of organization. It's not just government that use this type of structure. The fact that there are procedures to follow in every business means to some extent all businesses are bureaucratic, because those procedures must be followed, they must be signed off, they must be monitored, they must be checked. There is a procedure to be followed. And the bureaucracy should be flexible. In other words, it should be possible to accommodate new products, innovations, change. So by tweaking the existing bureaucracy, the additional tasks required could be slotted in perhaps, and the existing departments may be used or modified slightly to accommodate any new development. So overall, what we want to get across in this class is the idea that bureaucracy is bad. It's bad because we think it's bad, because we associate it with large organizations, we associate it with inefficiency and waste. Whereas if we think about it, all organizations have a set of tasks which must be undertaken, and from the time they receive an order to the time they dispatch the goods and the aftercare service they offer. So insofar as they've got a set of procedures, they are being bureaucratic. So it's possible to conceive of all organizations as being bureaucratic to some extent. That's all really we want to do in this session. It's a short class, so thank you for watching.